gentlemen, the Uncutt Podcast.
By Corey Holland, and I had it all in the palm of my hand. But now I got a body in the back of my head. I couldn't wait three more but I can say there's many things that set it all.
Woo.
I'm not doing it.
I thought we were going to do it.
No, you have that whole January 13th thing planned out. I don't know.
You've led me
January
astray,
13th,
man.
You're going to do it.
Guaranteed.
Hey, don't give me that whole let you down shit. I booked tonight's show. Fuck you, Robbie.
You did. You did book the whole show.
You're going to eat those words, Matt.
Daddy's hungry. So, yeah, I am the ace Nick White. Sitting right here beside me is Robert Cutthroat. Down there on the very far end, Left Panda 24x48, Matt Minnick. Robbie's on TikTok too, at Robbie Cutthroat, so you can actually find him now. It's glorious.
People say I'm gifted.
Yeah,
you're special. That's
you're
for sure.
on some sort of spectrum.
So I just want to come on here tonight. I got my cool Kevin Steenwolf shirt that I just got from my Pro Wrestling Crate. Getting ready for all the awesome pro wrestling tees that are going to be coming when he signs with AEW. It's going to be good times, I think. I'm ready. My body is ready.
Don't know if I got to break this to you or not. He re-signed with WWE.
No.
Seriously.
You know, why do you hate me, Robbie? Why do you crush my dreams? You made me drop my mozzarella cheese.
I think you did that all on your own, Nick.
Well, besides Robbie's horrible TikTok, we have some people on tonight that are actually really fucking good at TikTok. Mostly wrestling TikTok. So, Matthew, you did all the hard work this week.
Oh, God. You even called me by my government name. Oh, God.
I did not call you Matthias like I was planning on.
That's fair. So yeah, like tonight we actually have three different guests from across the wrestling TikTok world. Starting off is actually a good buddy of mine out of Chicago. He is your go-to guy when it comes to all Marvel, and he actually knows a lot of shit about his wrestling too. And him and I are actually, we've really clicked really fast, and we've become pretty good friends, and we have very much the same ideology when it comes to wrestling, and I just love bantering with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, Comic Punk Guy.
What's going on, guys?
What up?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
So, do you want me to just lead the second?
Go right on into the second.
All right, cool. All right, number 2 coming in, the Mr. TikTok of wrestling himself, independent wrestling superstar, hell, TikTok superstar himself, Mr. Willie Finesse.
Yeah, belt and everything, Jesus.
Yeah, 2.
And last but certainly not least, one of my longest friends on TikTok that I've known, hell, way too long it seems like. Actually, one of my good friends, Alan, but he also goes by Petty Endo 89 on TikTok. Oh, he's got the Bret Hart shades.
Wow.
He's trippy.
So first off, gentlemen, thank you all for coming.
Welcome, guys.
Yes, sir.
Willie, you were actually last minute. We just talked earlier this afternoon, and you're just like, yeah, dude, I'm in. So really, thank you all for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
So
we appreciate it. We were wanting to get heel Josh, but he's too busy. So
Yeah, because I'd have whooped his ass in real life, and I'd have whooped his ass in
Someone's got to shine that throne he sits on all day.
I'd have whooped his ass.
I had to get it started early, man. No, the funny part was when we talked about this, Matt was like, "Hey, do you have a poster together?" And I literally just like Googled heel Josh and put him right there in the middle. And he was like, "Motherfucker, I'm not doing it."
Did you get one of these in?
I'm guaranteeing we're never getting heel Josh on the show right now.
You never know. Maybe he'll want to come and defend himself, defend his own honor as a man.
No.
So, gentlemen, how are you guys? Yeah, he'll go complain to his Twitch.
There's too much testosterone in the room.
So, Dad, you want to start off the questions with the fellas?
I do. actually, because I've had this question on my mind. And it's kind of the question that I ask people when I first meet them and we talking about wrestling to kind of know where they're at in their wrestling fandom. Who is the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling to you? You pick 4 names, any era, go.
Who's gonna go first?
Anybody.
I'll go first. For me, it's the Undertaker, Ric Flair, Eddie Guerrero, and Steve Austin.
Okay.
Cool.
Petty?
I'm gonna pick The Rock. I'm gonna pick The Rock. The Rock, Flair, Rock, Flair, Austin. Rock, Flair, Austin.
It's hard.
It's like the hardest question. This is one of my favorites.
It's like the 4th.
Taker.
And Petty, before you start, I know you're going to be Shawn
And that was
Michaels.
rough.
Shawn Michaels, right?
HBK.
Yeah. All right. My Mount Rushmore is Steve Austin, Vader.
Oh. Did we just become best friends?
I think so. Obviously, Bret Hart. I mean,
Okay, never mind.
I'm standing on that. I'm standing on that hill. And I got to throw John Cena in there.
See, I knew I was. You right.
Yeah, Cena's got to be up there too.
Nobody mentioned Hogan, dude. I think
There's a reason why.
I know, I can imagine.
People
I'm
don't
saying,
like me,
dude,
we don't like him.
I have a distinct reason why at least 2 people probably did.
Well,
I got a question though.
I've got Flair, so I'm only allowed to pick one person with a tan, leathery hide at 40.
Dude, how can Andre the Giant not be on any Mount Rushmore?
Man, I mean,
okay. So
You're just limited to 4 people. I think in the true spirit of America, we should expand Mount Rushmore to
top
be
10.
Yeah, like to be 46 people or 90 people, depending on their stance.
Well, and then it also depends on what the characteristics of your Mount Rushmore are. Like, is it star power? Is it in-ring ability?
I try to look at all that, including like I try to look at all right, if I look at wrestling now, who is like a wrestler that I feel like is mimicked the most, like somebody, or like, you know what I mean? I try to think like that. Like a lot of people want to try to do Hollywood and try to be on the Rock's level, like of what he's done, but like what he's brought to wrestling. A lot of people
he's left that imprint.
A lot of people act like Ric Flair right now. Still to this day, everybody wants to has a little Ric Flair in it. You can see it. That's how I try to look at it. Because I don't know. It's hard though.
Yeah.
Or
me and my boys are the 4 horsemen. I get it. I feel what he's saying. I used to have a Ric Flair robe.
Come on, man.
Nick Harrison does have one.
I do too. I got a couple.
Boom.
I've just got I got the when Pro Wrestling Tees does a limited edition posters. I got that, and then I got a signed picture to me from him, and I've got his championship belt above it in my kitchen. And it's a hit with everybody, I swear. Oh, wow. Everyone comes in there like, is that Ric Flair in your kitchen? I'm like, you're damn right it is.
And Willie, you don't gotta hide that shit. We celebrate it here. Don't worry.
Just in case I got a kid, I never know when I got a kid watching, so I don't never want to do them like that.
Man, honor system there.
Respect.
Ric Flair is actually doing a meet and greet at hours before, I think, day 1 of WrestleMania in Dallas. He's charging like $100. It's supposed to be him. I think it's 3 legends. It's him, I think it's Jake, and then it's somebody else. I'd have to go back and look, but
that's not bad though.
I fucks with Ric Flair.
Robbie?
Hey, well, I guess my question is, like, I've been watching wrestling for about 25, 26 years. And when I first started,
no. 35 over here.
Really? Yeah, I started when I was about 11 or 12. But when I first started watching, it was real basic match concepts, singles matches, tag team matches, the occasional battle royal, and then you get your specialty matches in every now and then. To you guys, what would you say is the most innovative match concept in the last 30 years? Like, triple threats.
Goddamn Rain Man, boy.
Rain Man again.
I
Ladder
would say like the
Elimination
old
Chambers. I mean,
Ladder match.
the old X Division match when it first started in TNA, that was something cool and different
Ultimate
that,
X.
that didn't
Yeah,
really
Ultimate
get put on
X.
TV very much.
Ultimate X.
Yeah, like that
Ultimate
was
about
really really something different. And it created a lot of different because I remember when I found Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, which is what it was back then. It was free to watch with Comcast on demand, like in the very beginning. And I remember watching that, and all I had known the entirety of my fandom at that point was WWE. And I remember being like, this is just straight garbage. And then I started watching AJ Styles and kind of like picking up. Like, I've never been a huge Jeff Hardy fan, so him being there did nothing for me at the time. I knew who Jeff Jarrett was. And then as soon as I started watching like that kind of, AJ Styles, then it was because they would reference Ring of Honor, and then I started watching the Ring of Honor stuff. And I used to go to Ring of Honor shows, but didn't really know what the deal with Ring of Honor was at the time. So it kind of opened up like that there is a world outside of WWE and that I didn't know existed outside of like the Portage Park Theater Ring of Honor show that CM Punk does every year. Like it was there really wasn't anything out there, and that's kind of like where the world kind of opened up. But I think that Ultimate X thing just really showcased guys that were kind of in that mid-size level like AJ Styles is, and what they could actually do on both sides, where if you went into the WWE system at the time, you were regulated to one style of wrestling based on your size. Or at least that's how I perceived it at the time. I was like, still a teenager.
Shout out to Team Canada and Petey Williams.
Come on now, the GOAT.
Come on now.
They just buried my man's finishing move like that. Just did my man's dirty.
See, this is why Willie and I are already buds. Like,
Bro, I look
Shit,
at it, bro. It's
sure.
crazy, bro. For a long time, my mom would tell you, bro. Ever since I was a kid, for some reason, every time, like when I watch wrestling, even as like I was 4 or 5 years old, I studied wrestling to study wrestling, not for just I was studying the ins and outs. Like, damn, look, this person falling like that. That's why, like, people said I was a natural. Now, like, I've been hooked on wrestling my whole, like. Everything I do is wrestling, no matter what. Even when I click off here, I'm doing something wrestling related, for real, every day, 24/7.
Teddy, how you feeling?
Feeling good.
What,
Put them
what kind
shades
of match
back on,
concept
bro. You
tripping?
tripping without them
Put them on
shades
top
on,
of my
bro.
head.
Don't do
I
that,
just
bro.
wanted to make it splash, but
It's
now I
like
put
your
them back
thing,
on.
bro. Yeah.
I put them back on my head, but
That's got to be on all your new TikToks from here on out. Those have to be on.
I gotta get the pink. I gotta get the pink ones though. I gotta get
That's
the pink
fair.
ones again though. But yeah, I had both pairs, but.
And
What was
then
the question?
Growing up, you can wear Shawn Michaels t-shirt.
Oh, you know what? Hey, Shawn Michaels, and I'm probably like for those who follow me on TikTok and who've talked to me about like who I think the GOAT is. I say talent wise to Shawn Michaels, they're gonna flip when they hear that I didn't put him in my Mount Rushmore. So I already know I chose.
that is ironic, eh?
but
that's like me. Like I think you could make the case. Like I'm kind of the belief now that Chris Jericho might actually be the GOAT at this point. I think just with the longevity he's had, still
what he's doing in
stories. They've
AEW
got
is
great
killing
matches.
that, bro.
He's
Orange
killing
juice matches ain't helping that. And Chris Jericho, bro, I love
But
him.
no,
He's
here's
my
the
favorite
thing with the
wrestler of all
orange
time.
juice
He ain't
match.
wrong.
Okay, and I see a lot of people who shit on that match. It made sense with the whole thing. Because
Listen,
Orange
just tell the
Juice,
truth.
Orange
Listen, Chris
Cassidy,
Jericho is
the
my
orange
GOAT.
fucking gimmick,
I
a
can't
little
wait.
bit of the
Now-
bubbly, which was
now
really
it's
all that
our
was.
time.
Was just a way
So
to
you tell
sell
me
more
this,
a little
though.
bit of the bubbly.
Listen, I will pull out the bubbly right now. Listen.
I got 2 bottles in the fridge.
See,
still.
my nigga. Let me tell you something. Look, you mean to tell me?
Third time
Listen,
I've been called out.
I
on this
love
show.
Jericho. Jericho and The Rock are my 2 favorites. I can't pick between them. I'll tell you, I love them. I even come out sometimes doing the little Jericho shimmy you did. You know what I'm saying? I love my dude. But you cannot tell me that after he lost the AEW title, all y'all gonna be bull jiving me if you tell me.
Oh, he's
that
been
when-
jobbing.
Hold on. That ever since that he lost the AEW championship and the little hype of a little bit of the bubbly, that shit died out, he started to leech off anybody that was hot off AEW to kind of make it feel like, yeah, I'm the reason why they're stepping up. Orange Cassidy, he's popular because of me, because he's beefing with Jericho. MJF, because he's beefing with Jericho. Like I catch that shit, and that shit did nothing for nobody.
But let's take this a step farther then. Orange Cassidy, yes, he's at this level, right? When this started, right?
He's at the beneath level, yeah.
And he's good.
He's at the bottom of the bottom.
He's I mean, he wasn't like how Wheeler Yuta is now, but he's here, like
right above Cutler.
Nobody gets it. They have him have serious matches. I mean, despite the fact the Orange Juice is fucking comedy because they got no fans and they got to do something.
Right, I get that,
but that feud takes Orange Cassidy to a whole other level.
But it didn't.
It did though. It made him.
How did it take him to another level? If we're talking about him now, and he's barely above Brandon Cutler.
Was the TNT title match after or before that?
He never won a title. He's not on no hot streak. He beat Jericho and did what?
They
dumped him in orange juice
so
and then
many
did
fucking
what?
people that anybody they built up. My ultimate example, and we're going to talk about this later because it's the question I got on my mind. The ultimate example I have is Brian.
Hold on. Pause. Hold on. Dad, why don't you just go ahead and ask that question right now? Let's just continue this flow.
Okay, fine. Let's do it. Who is we always talk about WWE guys that should go to AEW, right? You know, Gargano, O'Reilly, Cesaro, Owens, what have you. Who is the opposite side of the coin? Who's an AEW guy that might benefit from going to WWE at this point?
Somebody like
my
Wardlow.
thought is immediately Brian Cage. Here's
Brian Cage,
monster.
Wardlow, Ricky Starks. Those would be the three I would send immediately.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Maybe Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs should have been Alex Kane, and I don't just say that because he's my boy.
Facts. These are facts. These are all facts. You're right.
all
facts.
I would trade all of those guys. All like Wardlow. If I would take Wardlow, Hobbs, and Brian Cage and send them to WWE, if AEW can get one Alex Kane.
Yes.
Yeah. Completely agreed. Friend of the show.
Yes.
Alex Kane. We love Alex Kane. Alex Kane was like our first TikTok guest.
That dude's awesome, man. I got turned on to him from another TikTok wrestler guy, and like I was like, dude, this guy is really good. And I watched a couple of the MLW stuff that's floating around on YouTube, and man, that's some really good stuff. The guy's really talented.
And he don't bullshit you when you see him on the TikToks. You know what I mean?
No, dude,
you don't get that fake. That's one thing I like. I don't like a lot of these wrestlers, but he's one of them that I'm like, yeah, I'll fuck with him.
When he was on the show, he period point blank said, because I asked him, I was like, should you have been in Team Taz instead of Powerhouse Hobbs? And he goes, yeah, of course I should.
Absolutely.
And I was like, my new favorite wrestler. You don't give a fuck. You just say what you're thinking. But I think
Willie actually hold on, Dad. I'm going to bring up my point here real quick. Gentlemen, since we all come from different boards across this TikTok forum here, who's some of the people that you like to watch and some of the things that you make you want to hit that follow button for people that you listen to? Willie, quit tapping your headset.
I'm a bad man.
I thought he was doing it on purpose. I'm like, this guy's a heel right here.
Heel turned it on all of us.
I am though, low key, but yeah, but I was just the weed, man. It's the weed.
I think when it comes to relatability, like there's two types of like wrestling TikTok people that I'll follow. Like I'll follow someone like who is a big source of entertainment, who knows like a lot about wrestling, but their content is at the point where they make hilariously bad takes in jest, but people can't tell the difference. And I think like Jade, when Jay first started, and he talks in that voice that just riles people up. Because it is annoying.
He's got that punchable voice. I love him too, but he's got a punchable ass voice.
Well, he's making that voice. That's not his real,
I know,
his real voice.
Yeah, I know.
But if I was standing on the L train stop and someone approached me and talked like that, I would be on the news for throwing them off in front of the oncoming red line train. And it's what I found was funny is that I had watched a few of his videos and I was like, no, like this isn't gonna this man is gonna get torn apart. And then after like the first week, and he kept going because he was posting like 2 or 3 times a day, if not more. And then I goes like, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, oh, this guy's fucking around.
Yep.
And that was kind of like, yeah, dude, like a satirical page. I wouldn't say someone nearly as like skull fuckingly stupid as MacGruber can be, but no, Zach's a good friend of mine. I say that in absolute like friendship with him, but like. It's where I know that Jade is purely satire, and there are times where I'm like MacGruber like just blurs that line to the point where I'm like, God damn.
Like you don't know when he's serious or not.
I like folks that ask very intuitive questions. Before we got on, I was talking about how I even met Matt was he asked a very good question about who should have been WWE champion that never got it. Like I gravitate to things like that. When people ask genuinely good questions and you can tell by how they asked it that they know what they're talking about. Because there are some wrestling TikTokers who run their mouth and then it's like, we really just hit the record button and sent on that one. Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your thing, and I'm gonna keep on with this other stuff. So, and then I also like people that are entertaining. That it could be satire or it could be real, but they just find something hilarious. Let me give you an example. Has anybody in here ever heard of Nico Vibes?
Yeah, he follows me.
Yeah.
We
so
friends,
Nico Vibes, there was the video that he duetted where there's a sound going around from Stefan, the guy who always critiques food. That this is a work of art. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
So he did one for wrestling where the bullshit all 3 times was Roman Reigns, and after the 3rd time, Nico Vibes was like, "How?" Like I love stuff like that. I'm like, that's funny. That's funny to me.
If I'm pressing the follow button on somebody, it's got to be like, for one, I look for. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but if you know, I guess it's almost some if you know type thing. But first people I love to follow is if I see and like you talk wrestling, but also like I love the people who like comic books. I like the people who like anime and all that shit involved in wrestling for some reason, because I don't watch none of that shit. But for some reason, I swear, every single person I've ever met that loves comic books, that loves like anime, that loves and loves wrestling all in one, they are some of the smartest people I've ever met on the app when it comes to not even just wrestling, just having knowledge about shit, period. Just they know how to see. I love those type of people. I love people who can maybe say have a bad take or do something. I like people who hold themselves accountable too. I don't like everybody. Oh, I'm really finesse. I think I'm always right. You know what I'm saying? I like accountability. I like shit like that. And then the passion is, you know what I'm saying? Because I literally wrestling is my life. So, that's what saves my life. I don't know what saves somebody else's life, but everybody has that thing when you're super depressed that you run to, that yo, I got this is like my escape to reality. Wrestling has always been that. So I look for that. That's what I look for.
That's awesome, dude. That's really cool. Hey, well, maybe you guys, we talked about AEW, talked about WWF. We have some friends from the ECW world. Maybe you guys could talk a little bit about ECW and what influence it has on your TikToks.
I threw Sabu ass over the top rope and won the Battle Royal in Nashville, Tennessee about 3 years ago. Let me go ahead and mark that down.
Tight, dude. That's an accomplishment.
I loved it.
Written down.
Yeah. Some of my best wrestling accomplishments have ECW people in it, and that was one of my favorite things I ever done. And then the first ever what's the first ever AEW pay-per-view they ever done? What was it called? All In or All Out?
All in, yeah.
Well, when they did that, it was just incredible. Sandman, his drunk ass, and they came and did a show where I wrestled at when I first started out, and I was one of the top baby faces there. And they love my matches so much. Like Sandman tried to get mad at me because I literally was just wrestling for 6 months, right? I was green as a motherfucker, but I knew how to wrestle. I'm telling you, I was bred for this shit. As soon as I got to the back, Sandman started cussing me and the dude Andrew Hunter out. This shit on YouTube, and he was cussing us out. He was like, "Why the fuck would you go that long? I know it was the opening match. That was a damn good match, but why would you go over 20 minutes?" And he was like, "How long have you been wrestling?" Talking to me, I was like, "I've been." My tag team partner tried to interrupt in the back. He's like, "He's like, shut the fuck up! I'm not talking to you."
Just points the cane at him.
I looked at him. I swear, and usually I'll be snapping on somebody, but for some reason I didn't. I was like, "I've been wrestling for 6 months," and he's like, "You've been doing what? You did all that in 6 months?" I was like, "Yes, sir." And he just took me to the back. He didn't talk to these niggas about their matches. Him and Just Incredible sat back with me. I gave him, you remember when I made that one post, Matt? And I was like, "Hey, here's the link to the AEW shit if you want to watch some shit."
Yeah.
I showed him that, and we sat there the whole time and watched that pay-per-view together. And they just was running me the game and shit from there.
That's a cool story right
That's
there.
real.
Dude.
I still got the pictures and everything that my partner took of them just sitting there the whole time. They didn't go over their match or nothing. It was crazy. Shit, real shit.
That's good shit right there.
That's my ECW story.
Petty Endo.
I didn't watch too much ECW as a kid just because it wasn't really readily available to me. But I'm a huge fan, God rest his soul, of New Jack. And I followed New Jack throughout his career, and that was kind of what got me into it. And then we were talking about, folks that are considered the GOATs. I literally just got off the phone with he's like my brother, and he will argue to the death that Rob Van Dam is the GOAT. Like he will, like, I swear to y'all, he will argue with you. And like, I had to kind of catch up late, so thank God for like the network and things of that nature. So it doesn't have any like impact on my TikToks. I almost never talk about ECW just because I did not grow up watching ECW. I was more of a WWF, WCW guy, but I certainly do respect and show love to the ECW community because I mean it's part of the fabric.
Yeah, and especially like some of the guys that were in ECW did cross over into WWE after the invasion and stuff, like RVD, like and yeah. Thank you, man. Yeah,
CPG.
I think with ECW, obviously I was too young for when it was in its like prime, and it was really probably hitting its stride for what it was. The best thing that ECW's ever given me is Paul Heyman, just to watch, like. He is like, in terms of a manager, probably one of the greatest of all time for that in that conversation for sure, because he knows how to not only twist the screws of a live crowd, but he can do it to people sitting in their living rooms and make you really want to punch him in his face because he's smug and he's nasty and like he's really refined out that character to the point where I don't believe that there is a big difference between Paul Heyman on the TV and Paul Heyman the person, and it's it really, I learned the cues of like, it's I don't know the right terminology for it, but like match mechanics from watching him and watching his cues because he has a lot of them to know what's coming next. And I remember the first time that I was like calling a match in my head, watching it as it happened, and my younger brother was like, "How did you know that was going to happen?" And I was like, "I don't." It's like it's weird to try to explain cues like that with people, but because Paul Heyman is so expressive in his face and his body language because he you have to be, and he really kind of like really adds an element to a match that he's a part of just being a manager. So for me, that was probably the best thing that came from ECW. I also look for ECW stuff and all the hardcore-esque matches that get brought up just because the influence will always be there, just because of the popularity of it at the time.
Fantastic answer.
Awesome, man.
All right, so let's throw a little haymaker question to all of you gentlemen. So between AEW, WWE, even MLW or Impact, if you were to pick four different people, so a heavyweight, an X division or a cruiserweight, a female, and a tag team to start your company, who are you going to pick and why? Petty, I'll start with you.
Well, heavyweight, just because if I'm gonna think about the money, and I'm gonna think about like draw power, even though dude gets on my nerves, my heavyweight would probably be Brock Lesnar. Even though he gets on my nerves, I would probably look at him. Middle, you said heavyweight, and then middleweight,
like an X division or cruiserweight.
X division, cruiserweight,
and the women's.
Well, women's. See, I'm torn on the women's because I really want to say Sasha. Like I just really like. There's just something about Sasha in the ring that I just can't take my eyes off of. I'm like,
bet.
Yeah, me.
Like you, like you just
can't look away.
You just have that factor. Where it's like I don't even have to call your spots. I'm just like, damn, you okay? So probably
it's got nothing to do with your jaw hitting your table and your tongue rolling out like a Tex Avery cartoon.
I think Petty's smitten by Sasha. I get that impression.
Kinda. You wouldn't be wrong. Middleweight. Oh, that's a good question.
We don't fuck around here, bro.
When we talk about middleweight, we talking about 250 and under, like
around middleweight and cruiserweight. I'd say that around that is about Perfectly.
235 to
Old school
300.
35 and up.
225 and below.
Yeah, 225 and below. Yep.
How much does Seth Rollins weigh?
Nah, he's
Like
heavyweight.
215.
He's heavyweight.
He's a
I still,
heavyweight,
man, he's
though.
still classified as heavyweight though. You ain't putting
Yeah.
him in no middleweight division. Come on, let's be
Man,
honest.
nah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, he ain't gonna ever go
Let's
for
not
an
do
X
it.
division title. Come on, now.
I could throw a name at you
Who, Robbie?
and say Matt Riddle.
Riddle's good.
Hmm,
Yeah, I can see that. I think Matt Riddle's like 220?
Yeah.
something like that.
220?
Pretty lean, yeah.
And then your tag team.
And then my tag team. Hey, you know what? If I'm starting the company, I'm starting it with Bootios. Give me the New Day.
Come on, talk your shit, man. Talk that
Give me
talk,
the-
man. Talk
Hey,
that
give me
talk.
the Bootios, man.
Man, what else?
Because I
What
already
else,
know.
nigga?
I already know. I'm gonna have the
Come on,
cereal
talk
deal
your
as
talk,
soon
man. Come
as my
on.
company open. I got revenue from a
Come
cereal
on,
deal.
man.
You feel me? And then I got 3 dudes that I can do any. I mean, Big E is the champion right now. Kofi has been the champion, and we know what Xavier Woods is the king of the ring. Like, that's 3 guys that I can do anything with at any given time.
And he said
So I
start
would-
a company with too, so that's who I'm
Just
trying to
start a
roll.
company. Oh man,
I'm telling you,
I'm about the
mine is
dollars.
easy. I'm rolling with Roman Reigns as my heavyweight. I'm rolling with the tribal chief, the head of the
Knowledge
table.
me.
Knowledge him.
At this point in life, we got to go right now. I'm picking Roman Reigns as my heavyweight easily. I'm definitely taking Sasha Banks because I'm thinking about money. We said start a business. This ain't.
Start a business.
I'm not trying to have the best wrestlers that everybody. No, I'm trying to make some motherfucking money. So I'm thinking about Roman Reigns, Sasha for my tag team. I'm definitely taking the New Day. That's the biggest and if it wasn't, I'm taking the Young Bucks. I need that bread. And then for my middleweight, I'm going somebody that I could build up. So I'm picking my boy Myron Reed. That's who I'm taking.
Ooh.
All right.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Well, I am an emotional blank slate. So I think with your heavyweight guy, I would probably also go with Roman Reigns because there really is nobody out there on that level in that weight class that just has pretty much the total package to bring anybody in who is currently like wrestling. For your middleweight guy, I would go with he's the guy that's in El Diego Fantasma or whatever, the guy in NXT. I really enjoy watching him. I love the whole kind of stuff he's building over there. I like him a lot. I really wish that I could have seen him and Andrade at some point. I just think they're both really talented, and I think that their match would be pretty good. But I would go with that dude. Tag team, I'd go 3 for 3 New Day. Like, there's just no New Day is like the best thing to happen to tag team wrestling, and since like pretty much I'd say so. It's like TLC for like having they're going to have longevity in that gimmick and stable forever. That is never something that's going to like fade into obscurity. Like something like like the casual fans or people who know about wrestling but aren't necessarily fans of it won't be able to recognize them. Where with the New Day, instantly, people are going to know those guys. Oh, those 3 wrestler guys that are really funny and they throw pancakes and ass flakes at people and stuff, and it's will all work itself out. And then for female divisions, that's tough because my taste in like what in-ring capabilities is stuff that's not being showcased right now. Really, Sasha Banks is everywhere. Jade Cargill's everywhere. Thunder Rosa would probably be my pick only because I know what she can bring in. And as soon as someone says, "Hey, we have Thunder Rosa," so I'll go with Thunder Rosa. But I'm a huge fan of Shotzi Blackheart, and I fucking love Abaddon. And I really wish that she would just eat Britt Baker on TV and become champion and be unbeatable for like a year. But that's just my personal like preference, that type of character, because there aren't, in my opinion, enough supernatural characters anymore. Everyone is this like grounded athlete, and ever since kind of Taker has gone into retirement and stuff, there aren't enough the supernatural characters. That's why it sucks so bad to see like Tommy N leave WWE to go to like how he left WWE, like not being able to explore that because they had it set up in the way that I would book it as like the next supernatural character, and they wasted all of it, in my opinion.
Shout out to Darby. All I'll say is I forgot to say his name. But shout out to Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Darby Allin. Yeah, that'd be my X division pick.
He gets no rap for me.
I love Darby, and I'll tell you why. And here we go.
He's a
Darby
decent
is
wrestler.
this
bro. I
generation's
give him
Jeff
that,
Hardy without the drugs. So,
Well,
and I
Sabu-
know he's a
and without the
scumbag, Matt.
abuse.
I know, but
Sabu said he needed to work out though.
Sabu did say he needed to work out when he was on our show.
I ain't gonna lie. When yesterday on Impact, man, I thought that was gonna be the Briscoes, and then it was Sting and Darby. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
Boy, that's what me and my brother were watching. Lights go out. I'm like, here it comes, Briscoe's time. And then
Yeah,
it was
my
like,
brother was in here. My brother was in here. He was like, "Oh,
Like,
here come them boys from Sandy. Where they from?
Sandy
From Sandyford, Delaware." He was in here hype for it. And then
I
it was
think
Sting.
I'm gonna be real. I think it's coming the first episode on TBS. I think you get Holiday Bash out of the way, and then the first episode on TBS, you have the Briscoes show up. That first episode on TBS is going to be wild.
Yeah, they want it to be like the first Nitro.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm not going to say it's like a restart, but it's going to be something so big because they're going to assume that they're going to get a little bit of a new audience from the TBS people, even though it's not really that big of a deal. But I think they'll get a little bump, and then that little bump will get bigger the next week just because they'll do some debuts. That's going to be when Brody King shows up too, so that's going to be sick. So, my question, we did the Mount Rushmore earlier. I want to know who your dirty little secret of wrestling is. Like the people that not everybody likes, but you're like, no, I want to watch that motherfucker. I like him.
Come on, say the Miz, Petty.
No,
No, the Miz doesn't count
That's
anymore.
your-
Miz is goated though.
man.
Miz is a
I'm
goat.
not hearing that Miz.
Miz is going into the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best in WWE history, and I'm not even fucking making a joke.
No, he's fat. You got to think about longevity. Hardly ever like that one injury he just had was
He
like
got
the first
one
time he was
injury,
ever injured in
and
a
that's
long.
because
Like,
Damian
what?
Priest is sloppy.
You got to respect that. Like, you got to respect what he did, what he came from. Like, and that's what I look at when you look at the Miz, man. If you can't look at the dude, I'm 35 years old, so I was watching The Real World Back to New York. I know what the
Yes,
show
sir.
was called and everything. Come on, that's how old my black ass is for real. I just look young. I just make this 35 shit look good. You feel me? But
You do.
Shit.
But I remember watching that shit, bro, and like the Miz, that was like a young me, bro. I used to carry, like I'm telling you, I was in high school carrying my replica belts, bro. I always knew that I was gonna be Willie Finn. I swear, I always knew that I was gonna be this. And I watched him literally come from that, and he went through the same shit I went through. People looking at him and laughing at him, making fun of you. Oh, you like this? You like men in tights? You like tighty whitey? You like that? And now
You like that big
motherfucker
shit.
that ever hated. They always had anybody that ever hated had to bring their kids to come watch me because I was that nigga. And no matter where I was at in WWA, like people go look that shit up. I was that nigga. I went to Illinois. The dude, like I make them niggas eat that shit, and that's what Miz did. And that's why I respect that shit. That's why I got that shit from Miz, honestly. Like wrestling wise, like how I get to these points of feeling like I gotta be successful no matter what, man. I ain't finna let nobody. I refuse to let them chumps be like, yeah, you got one over on me. Hell no, it ain't happening. And that's what I respect about me is he got that Kobe shit in him, bro. Like, you got to respect that shit, bro. You got to respect that shit. You say you love wrestling, you got to respect that shit.
For sure.
Come on, Petty.
Acknowledge him, bro.
I'm not. Oh.
Acknowledge awesome.
Hold it. I'll acknowledge the Miz. Like the Miz is legit. The question was my dirty little secret. He ain't my dirty little secret.
I love Miz.
Okay, let's stay on the point. I'm over here just trying to start that bullshit like you usually do. No, like mine. You know what? I say it like this. Y'all probably gonna laugh, and I'm gonna go old school. But you know who I always love to watch and is in my top 10 just because, and he's actually a good interview now. He's been doing some stuff. I fucks with Disco Inferno.
Oh, Gil Laverde.
Oh, I fucks with Disco
Gil
Inferno.
Laverde.
Oh,
yours ain't worse than mine. My first, you know, one of my first favorite ever heels, one of my and I still love him to this day. I was always two of my favorites has always been Tatanka.
Yeah,
I ain't never heard a motherfucker say I love Tatanka. I still got my original Tatanka.
I got a Tatanka story. I'm down.
Tatanka and Bob Backlund are my people.
Okay,
he lost to Kevin Nash at
okay.
Madison Square. I was pissed.
Okay.
I was pissed as a kid. I flipped this whole shit over. You feel
Yeah,
me? That's how pissed I was.
Panda, you might remember this. You had a question about do a legacy faction. Remember? And it was, and I based it off of give me a horseman, a heavyweight, a semi-heavyweight, and then a smaller guy. So I picked Arn Anderson, Tatanka, Vader, and 1, 2, 3 Kid.
I'm gonna say this real quick.
Hey man, WrestleMania 9 is my favorite WrestleMania. Okay,
we're getting there. Hold on,
I said it. Go ahead,
Will, you might know Brett Eisen, right? I'm managing Brett Eisen.
Go ahead, comment.
Who's that? Say it again.
Brett Eisen. He wrestles in Tennessee. He's from Kentucky. Anyway, I'm managing him against Tatanka at this show in Lewisburg, Tennessee. And Tatanka's getting over in the beginning of the match, hits a couple arm drags, and I look at Brett and I go, "You got to be better than this." He wrestled Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 9. And Tatanka literally stops. Like he's about to lock up with Brett and stops and looks at me and goes, "Really? That was the best reference you had?" Oh, God. So later in the match, like Tatanka's supposed to bump me off the apron at the end of the match. When I tell you that motherfucker dimmed my running lights with one of those fucking chops. He put that hand right between my fucking eyes, and I just went straight from the apron down to the floor. I was like, okay, all right. I pissed him off or something. And then he got in the back and he was like, "That WrestleMania line killed me. I had to give you something back."
You got tomahawked, man, by Tatanka.
See, that's the one. You got the one thing. You got the one thing that I would have dreamed of, bro. Like I swear, you might. I know this sounds weird, but I would have cashed in almost any great thing that's happened to me in wrestling, besides a few things like the co-sign from Shad Gaspard and JTG. I wouldn't take that, but and surprising my little girl with her birthday, like my second match ever. But I'll trade in all that other shit, bro, just to be able to take that chop from Tatanka. Boy, you niggas could have had all that other shit.
Dude, chop by Tatanka, freaking left hand from Bobby Eaton. I mean, shit, I'll never fucking forget, bro. I mean,
nothing beats my bushwhackers.
Hey, man, make sure y'all, find me on TikTok and shit, bro, so I can find y'all, man.
I gave you a follow as soon as he told me who you were.
I think I followed you yesterday.
Okay.
You guys don't want to be on my TikTok, I assure you of that.
Do not follow Robbie Cutthroat.
Man, I got a small platform, so do you. Just build it up.
No, hold on.
Oh, Petty, yours is not Def Leppard TikTok like this.
Comic book punk guy here never said what his guilty pleasure was.
CPG, you're going to want to watch this video, though.
What?
We got to play. I'm going to give everybody a preview of Robbie's TikTok.
Better run, you better do what you can. Don't want to see no blood, don't be a macho man. You want to be tough, better do what you can. So beat it. But you want to be bad, just beat it.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear that.
I'm glad.
I saw y'all basically saying niggas ain't gonna listen to
anybody on the panel. I said it.
Oh my God.
I haven't exactly worked the platform out yet. I'm working on it.
I have literally found a way to work that TikTok into 4 straight episodes now, and it's my greatest victory on this podcast.
It's gonna be the most views I get. So
because don't never promote your shit, because they ain't gonna never let your YouTube, like you say, hey, follow my YouTube or Twitch. TikTok ain't going for that shit. When people gonna watch that motherfucking video?
Don't follow Matt's OnlyFans. It's real weird.
Hey, I'm gonna work on it. Next time you guys come on, it'll be even better. Okay, I got a question for you guys.
Hey, hold on.
It's not my turn. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I was the one that said
he likes.
Y'all.
He's so quiet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think with the guilty pleasure, if the guilty pleasure for everyone is The Miz, the secret's been out for a while. So like I wouldn't, I would say that's pretty much anyone would say, like, man, despite what he can do sometimes, I'm always going to watch him. I think back in the day it was Dean Malenko for me, because he didn't really get the major kind of spotlight after WCW folded. He went straight into the training program, it seemed like. And
he got hurt.
Currently, Mustafa Ali, man, and I'm super biased because he's from here, but I really enjoy watching him despite whatever situation he happens to be in. He seems to try to make the most out of it. Okay. But I really do enjoy watching his matches.
So, guys, all right, I guess it's my turn now. So if let me see, how do I phrase this? Everybody always likes to say, "Oh, Vince is senile. Vince is ruining everything." Dude, if Vince died tonight and WWE had to restart tomorrow, What do you think would change? No Vince, what would be different?
I don't like.
Just depends
that's
on who's
rough, man,
running
because
it.
there's
It depends on
there's
who's
two
running.
things.
I
There's
mean-
two scenarios. It either
Go ahead.
nothing happens and it stays exactly the same because the blueprint is there for it to happen, or you're gonna have the highlight reel show of everything he's done, like Stand Back and everything will probably be included in that. And like I don't think that like there are people that are probably in line to take over things, but I don't think it's going to be this instantaneous thing. I think it's going to run on the blueprint of what he had until they're like, okay, now we can transition away from this and whatever the next phase is, because that's inevitably going to happen, at some point.
I'm with Willie Finesse on the because it depends on who's running it, because it's like you look at who they put in the echelon of like executives. Like anybody who know me know I am not a Bruce Pritchard guy. I am not. I'm sorry. I
know you're
don't
not.
fucks with Bruce Pritchard. I don't trust him in that role. Triple H has earned my respect because I was very critical of him when he took Dusty's spot and ultimately built that territorial thing up. And of course, we all know what happened. Don't get me started. I'll have a conniption. But I would say it would depend on who's running it. Like who gets the final decision, and more importantly, like, are we going to have a structure where your top, like all the moving parts in your organization, are we putting them in positions that make sense? Because that has been WWE's biggest problem. It's not so much that they haven't had talent. It's the fact, what the hell do you do with it? And that goes all the way back. I mean, Willie, you said you're 35, I'm 32. Comic Punk guy, I think you said you're a little bit younger. That goes all the way back to, the 90s and even the 80s. Like, there were things that they did with wrestlers back then, and it's like, why? So cutting that shit out and making sure that you have, appropriate storylines and things of that nature that work for your stars, that are going to draw money and actually make sense, that people can believe in. Whoever's in charge got to have a good grasp of that.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be hard because
they got to lose that core mentality of wrestling that, like, what AEW is not doing. They have it like AEW has, and for the people who's watching who don't understand what I'm saying, there's like always a core. When I went to WWE, they have their core set of guys that okay, these are the guys that no matter what, we can always fall back on. If we get rid of this person, we still got this person, this, you know what I mean? Just like they do now. They'll get rid of the Karrion Crosses, the Keith Lees, the people who really should be in WWE, you know what I'm saying? But they'll get rid of them because they got Roman, they got Seth, they got the New Day, they got those core, and then what do you see? And they keep relying on that because that's what we get now. Brock versus Roman for the billionth time. Even though it's somewhat interesting now. And credits to Brock, you know what I'm saying, for all the people that like to shit on Brock. Credits to him for making this interesting, for people even kind of want to see this shit. Him and Paul Heyman, of course. Paul Heyman, you don't know whose side he's on, but they're leaning to, like, they got to lose that shit. They got to let, you know what I'm saying, like, people like, I think, who said that, comic book guy? People like Mustafa Ali, this motherfucker can talk his ass off.
Oh yeah.
Like, this dude, if they literally just, instead of being like, hey, here, let me give you this script, why don't you play some of these videos that this dude be posting, like on his Instagram or on his Twitter, where he just be doing these random promos and be talking this far ass. Dude is amazing. His training, like, go look at his TikTok training video. Like, dude, y'all, like, they could really do something with this dude, like, for real. He should have been like Mr. Money in the Bank or some shit, something like that. They let retribution slip out these people's hands because everything always falls right back to the core guys. Everything goes right back to Roman. Everything goes right back into Seth. It falls right back into the New Day. Not saying these people aren't great, but they're dependent too much on that. And that's why a lot of people are going to AEW, and it's making it seem like AEW is way better than WWE, when in reality it's kind of almost still the same. But it looks like AEW is so much better because you're getting Hangmans, you're getting Daniel Bryans, you're getting the Darby Allins that people like. You're getting so many, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to push and they're pushing Griff motherfucking Garrison. They're pushing they want you to see Brandon Cutler on the screen. They're trying to make any and everybody a star. But WWE, we're stuck here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no suppression.
So whoever steps in, they have to get rid of that. You have to take that down. You know what I mean? You have to.
I think a really good example of that type of stuff is like just on this past week of SmackDown. The only person in the main event status who has gone down to work with someone who is definitely a mid-carder for even a part of a program was Brock Lesnar and Sami Zayn these past 2 weeks. That's why, and then in contrast to guys like Drew McIntyre, who is essentially in the title picture all the time, he's in the running. However, he doesn't do anything unless it's in that bracket of stars. They don't bring him down. He doesn't get attacked by two cowardly guys in the mid card. Nothing happens. He's stuck there, and they don't know what to do with him because they really can't. I mean, they can't do Bobby and Big E forever, but the more that they inevitably bring those guys together, which is great because they're all very talented and they all deserve the TV time they get. But all of those guys, with the exception of Big E, where can they go? Because when these guys are all transitioning out of the title picture again, the only people that they can bring down to bring people up into to keep cycling back and forth is Owens, Rollins, all of those types of guys can actually do that. But you can't do that with McIntyre. You really can't do that with Lashley, and that's going to hurt them in the long run because you're going to have guys at the top who can use that TV time to really draw people in, but you won't put them in another place for them to do the same thing or spotlight something else to make it more interesting. And that's a huge problem.
And it's like they make it like another thing, and it almost seems, and I'm not no AEW, y'all can tell by the way I talk, I just love wrestling, but it also seems like it's like they don't give it. It's like it's like they purposely make you not give a shit. It's like they be like, yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura, everybody loved this dude. He's one of the most greatest, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody to come from anywhere from out the country to be wrestling. And then here we are, we put this Intercontinental title on him, but we never let him defend it. We never showcase how great he really is. We're just going to let you come out, sing his theme song. We're going to give you a little introduction, and that's it. They don't really let him expand to be greater than what he can be.
They do more development on Rick Boogs.
Come on, you got Damian Priest who can be. Damian Priest is from Punishment Martinez. My brother put me on to him when he was Punishment Martinez, and like he's so great of a person. But the way they still book him as U.S. champ, it ain't nothing serious. It ain't like, damn, I can't. Man, when somebody takes that title off Damian Priest, man, oh, man, it's going to be huge. You know what I mean? They got one title that means something, and that's Roman's. When somebody beats Big E, as much as I love him, shouts out to another black man, finally got your turn. But let's call a spade, and keep this shit as real. When somebody beat him, nobody's like, oh, my God, I can't believe. No, we're already right. We're low-key waiting on it to happen in the Fatal 4-Way. Let's keep it buck. Let's keep it shit real. This shit ain't finna last for him because it's not really taking as serious as anybody. He ain't on no Roman Reigns shit. His title reign
until WrestleMania.
His title reign ain't gonna never feel like what Kenny Omega just did, even with Sammy Guevara as the TNT championship. Like for real, though. Just look how they book. Look. We're not gonna give you no real type stories. We're just gonna keep throwing shit together. We're just gonna throw shit together. Let's see. Really, let's make this a one-on-one match. Let's just make it a triple threat. We don't know what else to do. Let's just randomly make this a fatal 4-way match because we don't know what else to do with these stories.
And I think their mentality is it doesn't really fucking matter anyway because people are going to buy the tickets and buy the merchandise. They're like making the characters, and the wrestling can either be there or not.
Willie, this weekend I'm going to do a TikTok video about an idea that I had for WrestleMania. And I really want your thought on that because I think if anybody's going to critique it, especially on Big E, it's going to be you. And the idea that I have would make it so Big E's championship is actually greater than what it is now. That's for sure. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that one later on. Since I know we're starting to get sort of like wrap up time, how about this, Dad, Robbie? Can we do like a rapid fire, but we can just like pick people and just say a name?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Comic book guy, let's start with you, and we will go first thing that comes to your mind, Scarlet Bordeaux.
Oh, I like the Bordeaux thing threw me off for a minute. What do you mean like rapid? Like you want my opinion of her?
Yeah, just rapid fire. First thing that you really think about her.
Honestly, I don't really think anything. Never really did much for me, to be honest with you. I get her whole thing with Disco Inferno and all that sort of shit that she did. I think the coolest thing in WWE that she did was sing the theme song for Karrion Kross. Other than that, not really. It doesn't do much for me.
Dad?
Petty Endo, EC3.
EC3.
Maybe because I watched way too much Control Your Narrative today.
Yeah, we did too.
I always kind of felt like EC3 was kind of misunderstood. I always felt that way. Like I always felt like the character that he put on and how he was perceived, it just never matched, never clicked. In my opinion.
This is gonna be out there, dude. It just popped into my head, dude. Robbie E and Big Rob Terry.
Willie ain't got an answer for that.
Oh, you asking me about Rocky?
I think we're just going for whoever's underneath us at this point.
Yeah.
No, I got one for Willie next, actually.
I don't know what to say about Robbie E, man.
Here we go.
Hey, that the nigga came to WWA one time and motherfuckers didn't even know who the fuck he was, bro.
I don't know why he just popped into my head.
Motherfucker thought he was snooking them people.
Oh Christ! So here's a name that'll get Willie going for a minute. You ready for this one, Dad?
Go for it.
Who?
Heel Josh.
I beat his motherfucking ass on my mama. On my mama. The only person on TikTok I do not like. I mean, I know I get some bum ass trolls every now and then, but he's the one person I do not like, bro. And if you ever watching this, you know what I mean. And I'm gonna say this on here too. When you see me, you better put your hands up because I'm gonna beat your ass. I'll suck. Word to my mama.
Can we stop? Can we stop?
No, I needed to get that off my chest. I love getting that off my chest, bro.
I felt like that was
Hey, listen,
therapeutic.
I make random. Hey, Matt'll tell you. When I feel like it, I will make a random video. He gonna know every day of my life. Sometimes I do not like you, bro. You gonna know it. He gonna know it. But I love everybody else though. Everybody else. But you, I hate you. I hate your guts, bro.
I gotta find this guy.
Hope somebody farted in your dinner tonight.
Dinner though?
Panda, you're messy. You are messy.
I gotta do it just because you're from Chicago. CPG, CM Punk.
He should have like his the equivalent of a jersey for a pro wrestler retired at every stadium in Chicago when he's done.
I agree on that.
So that to me that's like the most entertaining I've ever been watching that dude. I saw him at the Portage Park Theater for a match or something when I was a kid. It might have been Portage Park Theater, and it was from the moment I saw him, and I was like, I like this guy. And then it was when he would do interviews and like talk about music, it was the same thing that I was into. There's like the common interest. The only thing that's like is I just can't get on is the straight edge thing. But like other than that, I've been so consistently entertained and surrounded by that being like our guy, because before that it was like, Legion of Doom. I'm like, none of those guys are from here.
No, they're from Minnesota.
And I CM Punk, that's the connection of being from the same place. I had never had that with a pro wrestler ever. And then by the time he was on WWE was by the time I started watching it again, because someone's like, hey, your guy from Chicago is like the champion and he just walked out of the company with the title. And I was like, what? And then after that, I have watched professional wrestling every day since that. Like that's what brought me back in after I got out during like the Ruthless Aggression era.
It was a simpler time, man.
Yeah.
CM.
I got, since mine was a bust, I got one more rapid fire for you, and you can just answer what your opinion is. Better tag team. You can say maybe the best tag teams ever. Demolition or the Road Warriors.
Ooh.
Not
I
hard for me.
I have to give the edge.
I'm gonna edge the Road Warriors just because,
man,
but man, listen though, it's hard to say that because it's a whole lot of generation who haven't seen Demolition, who knows a lot more about the Road Warriors because they were more popular. But Demolition was some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Amen. Let's not forget they had a third member, and Brian Adams, God rest his soul, did pretty well. He even wrestled at WrestleMania 9. Panda.
We know you know.
I just want to have a whole WrestleMania 9 episode.
Yes!
Good. I
yes!
love that. That would be
Yes!
awesome, dude.
Hey,
There's-
Matt,
Let-
what ideas
we
that we
should
had
do a
this
watch
week?
party.
We're just talking about random.
Panda,
Hey, can I ask y'all a quick rapid question and
First
everybody can
episode,
answer
WrestleMania
it?
9.
Can I ask a quick rapid question?
Of course.
Of course.
And just in y'all's opinion, for the people that's watching, their opinions, don't shit on them because it's their opinions. Who is the greatest heel of all time? It could be manager, whatever you want to put, but who's the greatest heel in wrestling of all time?
Dude, I got Randy Savage.
I'm going with
Cornette.
JBL. So
Yo,
I'm going Jim
JBL
Cornette.
because that man has a very punchable face. He looks
Oh
like
my
every who
God,
down
I
in
agree.
Whoville like just got fucking huge, and just bullies people. I don't. The JBL character. I remember when that like first took off, and I was like, I hate this guy. Hate
Man.
everything about him.
Fun fact, you know who JBL is based off of, right?
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.R. Ewing, the greatest television
J.R.
villain
Ewing.
of all time.
I gotta say, I picked Macho Man because back when he first came out, dude, he was knocking a pretty woman around, dude, like telling her to shut her mouth, dude. You know,
somebody said they watched my battle rap. Shout out to Macho Man. Cody's diss track. You know, fuck you, Hulk Hogan. You feel me? Be a man, Hulk. Be a man.
Be a man.
be a man, be a man, brother.
Yeah, brother. I remember that.
Greatest heel for me though, as we're winding down, Bobby Heenan.
Yeah,
Gotta give it to
Okay.
the brain.
That was where I was going to
You
go.
can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with
Can't go
that.
wrong with that either.
Because he's
Can't
like
go
my
wrong with that
hero.
either.
Love Bobby.
no, Bobby. Because Bobby couldn't be a babyface.
Will you stop?
Just didn't work. Well, gentlemen, we have reached that point. It has been a great hour. Tons of
awesome.
fun. I've loved this
Thank
hour.
you so much,
Well,
fella.
we'll just go left to right. I always kind of give everybody like a minute, whatever you need.
Thank
Push
you
your
guys.
socials, push whatever you got coming up. Have fun. Thank you guys for being on, and then we'll come back and we'll close this shit out. So, Petty, we're gonna start with you, buddy.
So Petty Endo 89 at TikTok, Petty Endo on Instagram. I'm just that funny guy that makes you laugh and makes you think. Oh, I am the best there is, the best president, the best ever living. Go ahead.
You don't look like Shawn Michaels at all, though. That's so weird.
Watch it.
I'm gonna take my time to say, rest in peace to everybody that lost their life in these tornadoes, man. Where I'm from, man, rest in peace, and pray for everybody, man, that lost their homes and all that shit. That's what I'm gonna take my time for. And shouts out to everybody watching this, and shouts out to the people that even started this movement. That's what I'm gonna do with my time.
Appreciate you, CPG.
No, you can find me a comic book guy on just about everything. I do everything from pro wrestling, comic books, comic book movies. I'm a top tier Marvel theorist. In my opinion, I can put any character you want in any sort of MCU situation if they don't exist already. And just hope everyone had a really good time with the episode like I did.
Absolutely.
And real quick, I know you're going to see Spider-Man. Let me know on a 1 to 10 scale how that is when you get done.
Yo,
Stay
yeah,
off
for sure.
TikTok, man. Somebody was live streaming that shit.
I ain't getting on TikTok right now. Nope. I only get on TikTok right now to like talk to you guys, and that's it right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing Matrix next week, and then Spider-Man right after that. So it'll be a
That's
good
coming out
week.
next week. Yeah, I need to go see that Matrix 2.
Update Chargers just won, I think. So
Hell yeah.
14-13, yeah.
I bet. Well, gentlemen, it's been
Peace
fun.
out, guys.
We will we'll talk to you all in the future. We're definitely gonna do more Wrestle Talk
that game's
episodes.
so
This is good shit.
Yeah, dude, you guys will come back anytime, dude. You
Yeah,
guys
you're
are
more than
awesome.
welcome.
Thank you.
Fuck
Thank
you,
you,
Josh. No.
This hour brought to you by
I didn't hear
Heel
that.
Josh.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, hold on. One more time. CPG, run that one more time.
So this hour of Wrestling Talks is brought to you by Willie Finesse and fuck Real Josh. Or Heel Josh.
Fuck you, Josh.
Thanks, guys.
The views of this show and these other two TikTokers do not reflect. No, I'm just playing.
Peace out, guys.
Uh,
Oh man, dude.
dude, that was
That
a
went-
blast. Fuck
that
Heel
went-
Josh. In case
That-
anybody didn't catch the message.
Yeah, they don't like him.
They do not like him. So yeah, man, we had a great episode this week. Next week we are going to take the week off because my birthday, Christmas, all sorts of other shit.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
So everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. Although I think that was like 2 weeks ago. Whatever you celebrate, have fun with it and get real drunk because that's all I'm going to be doing. So
But be responsible and safe.
Yes, don't drink and drive very far.
Very far. Like,
Love you guys. We will be back December the 30th, and we're going to have just the three of us on that show, and we're going to do the 2021 wrestling year in review. Whew. It's been a fun year. We have a lot to talk about.
absolutely.
Real quick, how great was this episode, though?
It was.
Dude,
I wish CPG was still in the green room because I wanted to tell him my CM Punk story about the time when I got to talk to him on the phone. It was really funny. I'll tell you guys when we go off air. It's good shit. But yeah, man, it has been a good time. We will see you guys in 2 weeks down on the end. That's Love Panda 24x48. Matt Minnick. Make sure to check out his TikTok. Robbie Cutthroat. I'm pointing the wrong way the whole fucking time I did that. Robbie Cutthroat right here beside me. Do not look at his TikTok, but if you want to, it's at Robbie Cutthroat. If you want to go check out mine, it's at the 8 Stick White. And I am making an announcement to close the show. As of about 6 hours ago, you can also follow at Uncut_podcast on TikTok. You can also follow at Uncut_podcast on Twitter, the Uncut Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. I'm forgetting something, but you can also listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast love. You will find the Uncut Podcast boys. Roberto.
Yo, what's up?
God damn it, I'm going to fucking do this.
You got
Matt.
you tell them before we do it, can you tell everyone you make me do this?
I don't. You make me.
No.
You threaten me every week if I
Just
don't
do the thing. Just do the thing.
Robbie,
Yo, what's up?
how many clicks is it, man?
1 and 2.
That's so stupid.
I fucking hate this shit.
You got it.